going on here. Mandy Prater, and Mandy Prater is in a band called The Misses, but then she's also just a fantastic singer-songwriter. And like as I was telling TJ when we were talking about the interview, I was like, she was doing live streaming before it was cool to do live streaming. So, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing good. Can't complain. To viewers out there that don't know what this Mrs. music is, what is the Mrs.
The
music?
Misses is an all-female band that I've been in for 6.5 years now. We are kind of a pop rock sort of band, and we've gotten to do some really cool stuff. We've put out a couple albums and a couple EPs, and we've toured around, and it's just kind of a unique thing. Two of the ladies in the band are, moms with several kids, and so it just kind of was this thing they wanted to start kind of as a girl power kind of female empowerment kind of thing, and it's a lot of positive, sort of just trying to put positive vibes out in our songs. I mean, they're fun, they're cool, they're kind of inspirational, but not in a cheesy way, just trying to be positive even in like deep topics.
Well, nobody really wants to be cheesy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody really wants to be cheesy. So I'm with you on that.
Speaking of day by day, take us back to like March 17th, like when everything closes. Like, did you have a show that day or later that week? Or
that day was actually my last semi-live show that I did. I also sing sometimes with a country band called Finger Pistol. And for many years, they played at Little Longhorn Saloon every Tuesday night. And so we took our show virtual starting on the 17th of March. And we all got together in one spot and performed and did a 3-hour show online. And it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people that normally would go to the Longhorn watching. And so that was really cool. But ever since then, everything that I've done has been purely solo online, basically. So
yeah, and then you guys have done like a couple of things with and I didn't even mention Finger Pistol at the beginning, but y'all have done a couple things where it's all live streaming from separate locations.
Correct. Well, Finger Pistol does a live stream every week, and we all come in remotely from wherever we are and come together. The main guy of Finger Pistol, Dan Hardick, he has figured out how to collect these different sources of video and audio using a couple of different types of programs and then broadcast it all up onto Facebook. So we kind of just take turns playing songs solo. We've also done some layered recordings where one person will start the song and then we'll email it around to each other, and everybody plays their part in time with each other, and then they combine it so it ends up looking live.
And you did that thing with the Misses the other day.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the Misses. We've been doing some of those, so that's been fun. This is my daytime performing background, and then so my usual, if you've ever seen my show Free Parking, I've got like a red curtain with some lights behind it, but it doesn't look as good during the day because it has a window coming in behind it, so the lighting's all wrong. So which just lighting alone is like a whole thing when you're doing Zooms and Skypes and live streaming. Well, you guys know, it's
those damn windows can get in the way, can't they?
Yeah. So
you've been doing the live streams, and have you been doing a lot of writing during this time? Or
I have actually a little over a year ago. I joined a Facebook songwriting group, just a sort of Facebook-based group, and the every 2 weeks you have to turn in a new song. So you have to submit a video of yourself playing a new song that you wrote based on a topic or a list of requirements that the host of the group comes up with. So I've written probably close to 30 songs since I joined that group a little over a year ago. So now during this time, I am taking some time to try to go back and edit some of those and start recording some demos just at home with my home studio equipment. So it's been good.
Did you record that one? I Like It.
Dive into that. Which one is that?
Man, I was trying to pull that up earlier, and I'm trying to remember, but it was like the last song you did probably 2 or 3 weeks ago on Free Parking, and it was fantastic.
Oh, I think it was probably the Outside song.
Yes,
Meet Me on the Outside.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I recorded a few just video versions of just me singing and playing that, but I haven't demoed that one or multi-tracked it yet. But that's in the works. I need to get that one out while it's still relevant.
For sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it will be for a little while because you got people that are not going out at all, and then people that are full force going out. So, I mean, you know, I think it'll be relevant for quite a while.
Totally. And I've gotten asked to do some in-person gigs, and so far I've kind of been like, I don't know, but I actually might do one this weekend because it's outside and I can be really far away from the audience. So, but it's kind of like, I think we all have to just weigh how safe we feel or how worried we are about our health, or, you know, because it's different for everybody. So
right. And having empathy for people regardless of what their choice is. To just,
right. Trying not to judge, trying to understand everybody's got their own concerns in their head. You know, for me it's weighing, is the money I would make going out and playing in person, you know, does that outweigh what I feel like I might be risking by going out in public, you know? Because I've been self-isolating since the date you mentioned, St. Patrick's Day.
Yep.
That's the last time I went out to any groups of people. So yeah. I've gone to the grocery store to pick up curbside once or twice since then, and mostly had deliveries and stuff. So I'm just, as a singer, you know, some of the symptoms and stuff that you might encounter if you were to get sick can be permanent. Yep. Like lung damage and stuff like that. So for me, that kind of scared me a little bit into thinking, well, maybe I should just steer clear as much as I can.
Very good point.
You get intubated. Does that hurt your vocal cords permanently? You know, stuff like that. Even though we're younger-ish and probably pretty healthy, you know, But
you just never know. Right?
Yeah,
and that's the most scary part about this whole thing is we just don't know.
Yeah. We still don't. So it's kind of like we were talking with Finger Pistol the other day. Well, when would we all feel comfortable to go do a band gig again? And some of them were just like, well, I'd kind of rather just wait, you know, at least maybe till next month or something. Just wait and see, make sure there's not some big spike since a lot of people have started to be out and about again, and the bars are starting to open up again, and people are getting upset because they're seeing crowds in bars, and
then people are upset because bars aren't open, and it's
right.
It's this whole, yeah.
It's a mess.
Mm-hmm. It really is. What are you, because you kind of already talked about that, you know, you might have a show this weekend. What are you thinking about going forward in a sense of what would you like to see change in the scene? Not just because of the, you know, excluding the virus, just talking about like, because this is a time for all of us to reset and maybe remake the scene the way we want it to be. So like, what would you like to see change?
Well, you know, pay is always an issue. You know, I mean, I know several musicians that are older that have been here since the 70s, and they say the pay hasn't changed since the 70s. And that used to be enough to play a couple shows a week and you'd pay all your bills and make your rent. And your rent was $175 a month or something, though, you know?
Yep.
So you could make a okay living, you know, doing that. Now we've got people playing every day, playing 5-6 times a week, playing in 5 different bands, and they're still struggling just to get groceries and keep gas in their car. How do we get people to understand the value of music and understand the amount of work that we put in?
I think, you know, this time has probably helped to some extent, because people have seen a lot of artists that they wouldn't have seen if, you know, they'd had to go out. Like now they could just from their home see all these different people. So
it's true.
Hopefully that helps us. So like going forward, like you're just putting a pause on shows and, you know, kind of taking them on a situation by situation basis, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm not ruling out playing out live, but I would want to feel, you know, especially outdoor gigs. I think it's possible to maybe play an outdoor gig and not feel too risky, but you know, there's always people that want to come talk to you, come talk to the band. You know, sometimes if you've been drinking, you're talking a little loud and talking a little close and talking a little sloppy, and it's like just rife for transmitting droplets. I mean, and I'm not like a big germaphobe or anything, but one of the last gigs I played in a bar, I was thinking about every person that tried to shake my hand and every person that came and talked to me. And, you know, it's just, I don't want to feel paranoid when I go out, you know, just trying to have a good time, and everybody there's trying to have a good time, you know?
Right.
So.
Definitely. Yeah. And I was talking to somebody about that earlier. He was like, yeah, sometimes I get off stage and people want to come and give me a hug. And he was like, I'm going to have to pause on that for right now.
Yeah.
I go, well, technically we should all pause on that anyway, because like we're all sweaty from being up there and you need a moment to kind of think for a second.
Yeah. But that's also kind of one of the most fun things about playing out is, you know, getting a little person-to-person interactions and people coming up and telling you that they appreciated, you know, your music and stuff. Like, you kind of want that. But, you know, I think we mentioned, I don't know if we really touched on, you know, well, my live stream show, Free Parking, that I've been doing. It'll be coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the first episode, which I think was the first weekend in June last year. And that I've been doing this. And so I've been doing those every week, not for the full year, but since quarantine, I've been doing one every week. And I will probably try to continue with that as long as I can. Because at this point I have kind of an audience that keeps coming back, and, you know, as a lot of them are going to still be staying at home, and they're counting on that as part of their week now.
For sure. Well, and then also the people outside this area that get to see you that maybe wouldn't get to see you if they were, you know, just counting on having a good show. Yeah.
I mean, I have regular viewers in Boston and Indiana and Arizona and, you know, all kinds of different places. So, I mean, that's another thing is that, you know, with going online, you can reach people anywhere. I've got people from Brazil that watch every week. So it's pretty cool. You know, I think what would be helpful would be to have some more ways to just reach out to a bigger audience, maybe through platforms that are hosted by a bigger entity, and maybe you can sign up for a time slot or some way where it's like, and I know we've talked about this in some of the local Austin musician groups, having like a hub, a virtual entertainment hub or something. However, it's kind of like, well, who decides who gets to go on? Who decides who gets what time slot? You know, is it going to be the same people that are already doing really well and already monopolizing, already have 400 viewers on their live stream every day, you know?
Yeah, the little clicks, kind of like similar to some of the open mic pods that you go to.
Right.
So what made you decide to start doing the live stream in the beginning? Because it's way before any of this quarantine stuff. Why did you decide to start doing it?
Yeah, okay, so last year, you know, I'd been playing in the Misses for a long time. I'm still with them, but I had a couple people that just were venue owners or managed venues and asked me to start doing acoustic shows again. And it kind of just revived this kind of passion in me for doing solo performing. So I kind of got really into thinking about, you know, my own solo show and my own side projects that I'd done of my own original music separate from the Mrs. music. And so I started doing some research, and I attended a virtual online musician conference. And one of the speakers there was Rick Barker, who is a former manager of Taylor Swift. And I just really loved what he had to say about engaging with your audience and how one of the most important things you can do, and this really speaks to me, this is kind of my philosophy, is like, if people are going to take 2 minutes even to listen to one of your songs, or to pop into a show, or, you know, throw $5 in your tip jar, like, you got to give them some love back. You know, we're not just here as musicians to just be adored and it's a one-way mirror. You know, like, I feel like I want to have relationships with the people that are actually going to spend time to support me, whether that's financially or whether that's spreading the word or just being a fan that shows up every week, you know? So sure. He mentioned this artist named Dawn Byer from Nashville, and she's kind of set the bar for live streams. She started going live maybe 3 or 4 years ago, every day, playing her original stuff. She was living in Nashville, playing 8 hours, you know, a day, sometimes on Music Row, and kept losing her voice and stuff. So she decided to try going live, and she built up an audience to something like 80,000 people. And now she gets flown all over the world to play house concerts for people, and isn't like busting her ass on Music Row for, you know, $100 a day.
Tearing her vocal cords up and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really inspired by that. And I kind of looked at her as sort of a example, and I thought, well, I'm going to try that. So I started doing little 30-minute shows, and just of covers that I had memorized, and it kind of just became a thing. And so I started putting up clips from the shows and try to engage with people on Facebook. And then, you know, you can do targeted ads. Like I've gotten followers by posting here's a clip of a Tom Waits song that I did. Target Tom Waits fans with it. And if they like it, you can invite them to like your page, and then they become a follower. So it's not like buying followers. You're truly engaging with a person based on something you did that they like.
Right.
You know, and Facebook ads and stuff, these ads that I have placed have been $2, $3, $4, and it reaches a couple hundred to a couple thousand people, and it helps grow your audience. So anyways, that's kind of been how I've approached it.
On the live stream aspect, it's funny you talk about Rick Barker, and I've heard him talk about that on the podcast before about Dawn Byer and everything, and I was like, I should really do that.
Yeah. And
then never did. And so it's interesting that you actually decided to do it. Like, how long did it take for you to, like, really start seeing a lot of people tune in and everything?
Well, I think the key is consistency. There have been a few times where I did a show every week, you know, faithfully for, you know, a month or more. And then I went on vacation, or I got real busy with live gigs, like in-person gigs, or I was somewhere. I've even taken free parking to a live gig and broadcast it live. If I had a Saturday night gig, I would just turn on the live stream on my phone for like an hour, so I could do a free parking live from the Three-Legged Goat, or live from 12 Fox Brewery, or wherever I happen
to the airport
to be from the airport. Yeah. The key, and I think this is even more true with Dawn, the reason that she's been so successful is she was going on every single day, and sometimes even multiple times a day, whenever she could. And for me, that's a lot for me, because I feel like if you want the show to be good, you kind of have to do some prep work, you know? I mean, you can play whatever songs you know, but I try to play different songs every week. And so doing that for a year, I've learned a lot of new songs. And so it takes time. Besides the songs that I've written, I do a lot of covers. When I play, I do a lot of classic rock, and whoever is going to sit there and watch and be entertained and is going to, you know, share the love, like, that's cool with me. So
no, for sure. You take a lot of requests, like, going into the show, like, on Saturday. Like,
I do.
How many songs do you think you've learned in quarantine?
In quarantine, probably in the last 2 months. I mean, not a ton, maybe like 15 or 20.
It seems like a whole bunch because every time I've tuned in, it's like a completely different show.
Actually, that might be a low estimate. It might be more like 30 or 40. Well, I've done 8 quarantunes shows. Before that, I did one that I called South by Stay Home, which was during the should have been South by weekend. Mm-hmm. So that's 9 weeks I've been doing these, and I probably learn 3 to 5 new songs a week. And I would open up the show with those, and then people would ask me for ones that they like, that they already know that I do, and I would do those. And I also did an all request show where I posted my entire song list and people could say which ones they wanted. And I've also just done give me a request. Those take a little longer though, because especially if it's a song I'm not familiar with, it takes a little longer to learn it than one like, oh, I've always loved this song, I've just never played it, and you kind of know it already, sort of. You just gotta kind of learn the chords or whatever. Mm-hmm. But but it's given me something to do, and it's in honesty, when I get back out playing live, I'm gonna have a ton of fresh material that the live people have never seen before. Right. That haven't, maybe don't get on Facebook and haven't maybe been watching my show. So I've got probably a whole 2 new sets worth of stuff now. So that's cool.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking, because I was like, she's basically got to have like an entirely new like set whenever she plays out live again.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a best of quarantine, like all the new songs I've learned for quarantine that were I kind of learned them because they were on topic with quarantine. Like they were about touching or not touching or missing somebody or, something like that. And I think it'd be fun to do. Maybe I'll do a show with all of those and just write them down and see how many I learned. Cause I'm not even sure how many I learned, and they're not all winners. Sometimes you try out a song and you're like, you really like it, but it just doesn't really click as well.
Yeah, well, I think you're undercutting yourself on that one, because I thought they were all great. So just putting that out there. Yeah, for sure. People are looking to support you or find you live or on live stream. Like, where do you go?
Right. My live stream currently that I run, free parking, is through my Facebook page, which is Mandy Prater Music. So you can go to Mandy Prater Music and find it when it pops up, or you can go to Mandy Prater Music /live. If you type that into your Facebook URL, and it should go straight to the page where all of the live streams are. And it even has the archives of the old ones if you want to check out the old videos. I also post, a lot of times I'll pick a couple favorite clips from it and I'll post them on my Instagram, and I'll have it kick over to my Facebook as well. So my Instagram is the Mandy Prater, THE Mandy Prater. And so I'll post videos and stuff on there too. And then I also have a YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to be in the process of posting some of my entire free parking episodes up on the YouTube as well. So my YouTube is, I think it's just Mandy Prater is the address for the YouTube.
Yeah, we'll put all the links in here and everything like that. And
cool.
Yeah, if y'all haven't checked out Mandy, it is fantastic use of your time on a Saturday night. So
thank you. Yeah, I usually play at 9 o'clock. I've usually been doing an hour, but some of them have gotten a little longer lately. I've been telling stories or, just taking more requests at the end of the show if people want to stick around. It's really cool when people request your originals that they want to hear, Mm-hmm. But anything, it's just fun to know that you have followers and they really like how you sing that Fleetwood Mac song or whatever it is, and they want to hear it again. So that's always fun. So I'll do as many requests as I can, because I think it also helps the tip jar situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and I only have usually Venmo and PayPal on my tip jar. Do you use other ones as well?
I've seen some other people using Cash App and stuff, and I've heard some success stories from that. But
yeah,
I haven't personally tried it yet.
Okay, and I know you can even pay people through Facebook.
Right.
There's Facebook, like through Facebook Messenger, you can pay people, and I think it attaches to your PayPal or your Apple Pay. But it's like that's kind of seems like an extra step,
right?
To me. So I don't know why you do that if you already had a PayPal.
I heard a rumor a while back that they were going to add it natively into the live stream, like to where you can tip within the live stream. But we'll see if that happens.
Maybe it changes.
I feel like I heard something about that too. Yeah, so that'll be cool. And then again, it's like, how does that money come to you? And are they going to take a percentage or, you know? But yeah, I think now that you mentioned it, I think I saw that.
Really, I just want to say, Mandy, I appreciate you reaching out to us. Yeah, you reached out and I said, hey, Sean, it's girl Mandy Prater. She reached out to us. Oh, yeah. Well, of course. Sean knows all the musicians in Austin.
I don't know everybody. You keep making it seem like I know everybody, but I don't know everybody.
I got to give you some credit. He knows people.
About time.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like a pretty small community, but then you realize that there are like probably, when I look on some of the larger Facebook groups, and there are like over 4,000 musicians in an Austin musician Facebook group, I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know all the people,
Right.
But it does kind of sometimes like you're only a couple degrees of separation from almost anybody in town, because almost everybody's played 30 other people. So
well, the random part about like when I actually virtually met Mandy is that another lady in that band, the Misses, is Larissa Ness, and I actually used to play in a band with her. So
that's right.
Totally random.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you were following some kind of hashtags or something, and you reached out and you were like, hey, something. And then we got to talk, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, yeah, I know somebody in this band.
Yeah, that's so weird.
It's a small world, but yet there's a lot of us in it. So, well, cool, Mandy. I appreciate you coming on.
Well, yeah, I'll look forward to seeing your episodes and seeing what other people are up to and how they're dealing with all this time right now.
We're going to just have a good collection of people, and people that I respect, and people that are, great musicians, but also great people. So
cool. Well, thanks for including me in that.
For sure.
Cheers, Mandy. You have a good one. Good to meet you.
You too. Thanks, guys. Good to meet you too.
Yes.
Take care.
All right, guys. What's up? It's Sean from Bar.